Hey everyone, welcome to art class. We have talked a lot about color and line this year, and we are turning the table to talk about shape. Can you guys think of some shapes? Yep, you might be thinking of triangles, or squares, or rectangles, or circles. So those are some basic shapes that we are going to use today to make our mini sculptures. So our artist inspiration today is an artist named Betty Gold, and she makes her art to bring joy to people and joy to the world. So I thought around the holidays and around this time it would be great to make some art that's all about bringing joy, inspired by our artist Betty Gold. All right, guys. So you are only going to need two different things to make today's art. You need some thin cardboard, so that's maybe from like a cracker box or a soda box. And you need a pair of scissors. This is a good project to maybe have an adult help you, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to have so much fun, and all of your sculptures will look different because there's no one right way to make it. All right, so our learning target is, our guiding question is, what are shapes? So shapes are a closed flat area that are made by a line that meets itself at the end. So picture when you're maybe drawing a triangle, you draw a line down, over, and then if you just did down and over, it would just be a line. So you have to connect it to bring it to the end, right? And this is a triangle, so it has how many sides? 1, 2, 3. I'll give you a preview right here. Do you see these little slits? It has 3 slits for the 3 sides, and we will do that later. And a square has how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many slits does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4. A slit on each side. Okay, so what is sculpture, right? That's a fancy word. So sculpture, there are so many different types, but all it is 3D art. So it's not flat. A piece of paper is flat, but a sculpture is 3D. You can walk around it and see it from lots of different angles. Sculpture can be molded, carved, or made by attaching different materials. So we attached different materials to make this sculpture. Okay, our learning target today is I can cut shapes, cut, and build sculptures with them. That's all we're going to do. We're going to make mini sculptures. Okay, so let's get started. I have my pair of scissors and I have my cardboard. While you're watching this, you can make your sculpture with me, or you can just watch the video all the way through and then make it afterward. It's your choice. So I got thin cardboard. If you don't have thin cardboard, I'm sure the thicker cardboard would work too, but I like the way that the thin cardboard often has colors on it. So I have this really colorful LaCroix box, and I have a wheat thin box, and all I want to do is now break them down by just taking the glue off so that it can be flat. So I'm just carefully tearing edges apart. Taking my fingers, putting them underneath, and breaking it down. All right, now it's nice and flat. It was 3D, now it's flat, kind of like our sculptures that we're about to make, or our 3D sculptures. Okay, so I want to make triangles. And when I'm making triangles, I first want to just cut the tabs off of my cardboard. So carefully with my scissors, I put the end of my scissors on the edge and very carefully hold my hand away here, not ever in front, away from the scissors, and cut off little bits that I don't need and set those off to the side. I mostly want to use this big area. Okay, so since I'm making triangles, it's easiest, instead of just cutting each little triangle out all at once, it's easy to start with making a strip. So I'm going to take my scissors and just cut along this strip right here. This happens to be a good size for making my triangles. So the funny thing about triangles is that if you look at a square and you cut it in half like this, you get a triangle. So a square cut in half diagonally makes a triangle. So what I'm going to do is take my scissors and just eyeing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut a little square off the end. Since I'm making triangles and not squares, I now want to cut this one more time. Not in half right here, that would make rectangles. I want to cut it corner to corner in half like that. Carefully holding it with my other hand, I take my scissors and from the corner, I snip it all the way to the end. Look, now I have two pieces, two different triangles. So I'm not quite done. I'm ready to make tabs. So it's easy to cut the tabs if you cut them just with a single piece of cardboard. But if you want to go faster, you can also take your triangles and stack them up together and carefully cut the tabs going up, pointing up towards the top, twisting it, pointing towards the middle, twisting it, and pointing towards the middle. So when I take them apart, I have two pieces already cut with both tabs. Let's show you another way, okay? I need more than two triangles. I want to cut more. So let's make another square. And we just learned if you cut a square diagonally, it makes what shape? A triangle, right? All right, here I have my two triangles. If I don't want to cut them at the same time, I can just cut them on my own. So I want to cut a tab that's from the bottom end that goes up to the top, or points up to the top. You see it? Okay, here's the next one. Now my triangle is facing this way. I want my little tab to go right here. The tab should not be so long that you're cutting your triangle in half. You just want it to go inside the triangle a little bit, okay? How many sides are on a triangle? 1, 2, 3. Look, I only have two tabs, so I need how many more? I need one more. All right, that's what the triangle tabs look like. Why are we cutting these tabs? Well, we'll talk about it in a moment, but we're cutting these tabs so that we can attach our pieces together. You can already see what we can make with these. All right, so that's how you make the triangles. If you want to make the square, it's pretty easy because, look, we just learned how to do it. A square is even on all sides. So this is a rectangle, right? This is a rectangle, but this, let's make it a little bit more square, is a square, right? A rectangle has two long sides and two short sides, but a square is all the same, no matter what side you're on. This side is the same length as this side, same as this side, and this side. And that is what makes the difference between a square and a rectangle. Rectangle is long, square is even all around. Okay, so I have my square because this is another shape that I can use for my sculpture. How many slits do you think I need on my square? We'll count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 slits. And guess what? On every single slide or side, I point those little slits, that little cut, towards the middle. It's almost like I have an imaginary dot right here, and I want to point my slits towards the middle. Now I have 4 slits. Remember the triangle? How many slits does it have? 3, right? Because it has 3 sides. All right, let's make a couple more. So this is like a small square, but I could make some larger ones. So let's keep cutting from my cardboard. I want to cut this tab off because I want larger squares. And I'm going to cut it right here. Is this a rectangle or a square? If you're thinking rectangle, you are so smart, right? We want to make a square, so I'm just eyeing it, doing my best to try to make a square. All right, do I cut it in half this way? Nope, I cut it in half that way. Oh, well, I'm not making a triangle, I forgot. I'm making a square. So, all right, here I have a square. Instead of cutting another one on my own, I can actually hold this square with both of my hands right in a corner. And look, now I know exactly how big to make my next square because I'm making it the same size as the one I'm holding. Voila! Now I have 2 of the same size squares. And then you can even keep making the same size over and over and over. So when you're making these sculptures, you want to make sure that not all of your pieces are all different shapes. I would say make some big and make some small, but you don't want them all different from each other. Okay, I'm going to cut the slits at the same time, holding them carefully. The end of my scissors, not the tip, the end of my scissors, just like my alligator teeth. Carefully cut a slit towards that center, right? I'm not cutting it diagonal, I'm not cutting it near the end, and I'm never cutting towards my fingers, right? Right in the middle of a side, I'm cutting in towards the middle. Look, here I have it. Let's see if they attach. They do. Look at that. All right, so I've already made a couple more squares and triangles, so we are going to go ahead and get started making our sculptures. Here are some of the ones that I've already made. You can see there's a colorful side and a brown side because this is the outside of the box and this was the inside. On this one, I wanted it to be a little bit taller and I attached it to be tall. On these, I just made them similar to this one, but a little bit different. So do you see how I have made more than one sculpture? So that's what you are going to do because they're not really, really big like our artist, Betty Gold. We can make more than one. So let's get started. All right, with the triangles, I want only to use triangles on this one. I have my one triangle here. What I'm going to do is take the slit from this next one and slide it right here. It slides a little bit, but what I want to do is slide it all the way so that this triangle sinks into the other. Those slits are kind of going like this, right? Not just like this, all the way so they're nice and secure, okay? All right, and this is where the fun part comes. You literally just keep building. I'm going to take another one, slide it in. Make sure you slide it all the way so it goes like that, right? Slide it all the way. Already creating something kind of interesting. Okay, let's keep building on. I'm going to go this way now. There's no right or wrong way. And these sculptures are not supposed to look like anything, like an animal or a picture. They're just abstract, so they're not supposed to be anything. Okay, let's add one here. You can turn it on the shape. You don't always have to do it from the bottom. You can turn it on the side. Keep going. All right, and so once you have a few attached, you want to make sure that it's going to be able to stand up on its own. You don't want it to just like fall on the side. But it's pretty easy to do because you can see as you're making it, it can stand up many different ways. This way, this way, this way. That's the awesome part about sculpture. There's more than one way to look at it. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe I'll add a big one or a big triangle now. Slide it all the way. Big triangle maybe on this side. Let's make it on this side. All right. Okay, so I would probably keep going a little bit, maybe add a couple more, but let's talk about the squares. So this would be my first sculpture. All right, the squares are really fun too because they can get lots of height, like a tall building. Okay, I have my 4 slits. Just like with the triangles, you put the slits together. Don't leave it right there. Make sure it slides all the way in. And you'll feel it get a little bit harder to slide in. If you feel that, then you're doing it right. Okay? Ooh, I like the way this is kind of looking, right? So I'm going to add another one this way. Slide it all the way. Ooh, pretty cool. All right. Maybe one this way. Ooh, so I originally had it like that, but look, when I place it like this, it kind of stands up, right? It's standing up. And look, there's all these little spaces starting to create just by the way that I have attached the cardboard. Okay, let's put one here. Oh, it almost looks like I'm making a house. Pretty cool. You can see it from that side. Okay, I'm gonna make it nice and tall for my last piece. All right, I like this one a lot. It kind of gets big and it goes up to a smaller piece of cardboard, a smaller square. All right, so you can make as many sculptures as you want. I made 4 because I thought it was so much fun before I showed you the ones that I just made. But you should make at least 2 sculptures. So don't make just one. After you make the one, and let's say you run out of the pieces of the triangles and the squares, I want you to make more triangles and squares and keep making a second sculpture. If you make 2, I want you to take a photo of it and send it to me at my email. And then I can post it to our classroom page so all of our friends can see what we're making. Okay, so if you want to experiment even a little bit more, you don't have to just do triangles and squares. You can experiment and make different shapes. Maybe you really want to challenge yourself and make a circle. That would be maybe even a little bit more challenging. But if you want to try it, I would say go right on ahead, right? So if you make a circle, you want to do at least 4 slits. So kind of like the square. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost looks like a pie. And then you can attach it to other circles or even a different shape like a triangle. So I showed you attaching all the same shape, but if you want to be different and mix triangles, circles, and squares and rectangles together in one sculpture, then you should try that. All right, good luck you guys. I hope you enjoy our project, and I can't wait to show you more